You know, staying hydrated never tastes so good in a cup of freedom. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my Monday night live stream. It's your boy Clint, or, Magged Up Morgan, whatever you want to say, wherever you guys want to follow and all that type of fun stuff. And I am happy to be here another Monday night with you guys. And just like from the title of tonight's live stream and the thumbnail, you'll notice that me and some of the team will be traveling to visit Q, which I am really excited about because we hinted a little bit about that at SHOT Show when we did our podcast with Kevin about a tour, with a factory tour, and perhaps maybe building some guns on camera, and then perhaps even offering one of those guns that you see being built at CF contests. Maybe, who's to say? We'll see. And so if you follow Classic Firearms on social, you follow me on social, you'll notice that we threw up pretty much like, hey, come to the live stream tonight, ask some questions, obviously, that you would usually ask me, and we can have our conversation in our chat. But of course, the conversation that we're going to have with Kevin, another episode either of a podcast or a part 2 or whatever you want me to tell or ask Kevin, light it up. Let's find out. And of course, Jay, I think he'll be joining us as well. So Unpossible by Q, follow those guys on Instagram. It's going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. And with that, let's go ahead and hop into tonight's stream. Of course, and as always, I might not get to everybody's comment or question, but if you want to make sure I get to it, super chats show up nice, bright, and shiny, and I can see those. I've got Rumble pulled up because I know sometimes the super chats don't come over. I can see the comments when they come over, but not all the time, with the super chats on Rumble. So that's okay. I got y'all now, and I will make sure that I pay attention to that, okay? Now, with that, let's kick this off because, like I said, I already see quite a few of you guys in here. And Prison Mike, the very first question he has to ask is, out of the 25 other letters of the alphabet, why do you go by Q? Now, according to Kevin, if you watched our podcast or listened to it at CF Podcast, which I recommend all of you should because it's very spicy and it is in true Kevin fashion, and it's very informative and educational. You learn a lot about the industry and also suppressor technology, ammunition, and all sorts of cool shit. So just go check that out. And you also learn a little bit about why Q, when it's something simple, something that looked good, something that is memorable, something that is reminiscent of like the Nike swoosh. Like when you see it, you know exactly what it is. And whenever you see that Q logo, especially those of us that are gun guys and we recognize things easily, but even outside of that, you might see that and be like, Q, I get it. I know who that is. I know what that is. I know what that stands for and everything else. And it's like, that's what I want. Why Q? That's why Q. So there you have it, right? So great. Got a super chat in here already. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Would you rather eat a pineapple-sized person or a person-sized pineapple? You have 24 hours or die. Definitely a pineapple-sized person. I love pineapple, There's other comments in there too that I'm just not going to make. It's way too early for that, okay? So with that, thanks, Joe, for the super chat. Appreciate it. You guys are freaking ridiculous, and I guess that's perhaps maybe what you want me to ask Kevin too. So we'll see, all right? Okay. Crazy One Mopar on Rumble. When are we starting? Starting when? Right now. And typically 7 p.m. unless I throw it up on social that it's a later time, earlier time for whatever reason. Hopefully you guys are all coping with the daylight savings time change now. I know for me, it was a little bit of a transition there, especially when the kids aren't on the same. They're like, hey, the schedule to me is still the same, so why is it changing for you? It doesn't work, right? 5 to 9 Minnesota Farmer. Clint, what is the best 300 Blackout SBR? LOL. Well, we're gonna find that out because we're bringing a Spear LT 300 Blackout Rattler, and we're gonna have what I think we're gonna have. We're gonna be in the home of the Honey Badger, and the 8.6, the boombox, And well, I guess, I guess we'll see. We're gonna like I said, we're gonna have a lot of fun. And Kevin welcomes it. He's like, bring whatever you got, and let's run it and see which one's truly better. If I were to give you guys my my wish list from Q, I think would probably be a Honey Badger SD, an integrally suppressed Honey Badger. I would love the boombox and all that and the 8.6 and everything. I think that would be super freaking cool. But to be quite frank, 8.6 is definitely out there as far as the caliber and the ammunition availability goes. But for me, I got 300 Blackout. That's what I have a little bit of saved up, and that's what I'd go for. You know what I mean? So there you go. All right. Let's see. Let me come back on over here. The Snowball. Can Q make anything that doesn't look like leftover parts from 50 different projects, or at least less than the 3 distinct colors? You realize there's a reason behind that, right? That's all of the raw materials. That's exactly what they look like. So the different pieces of like the different forgings of aluminum, things like that, that's what you're seeing. And then it's just clear anodizing on top of it. So what you're seeing is truly what the gun looks like. There's no Cerakoting, there's no nothing like that, and it is what you get. And quite frankly, I think it's like one of the smartest things they could have done, because just like their simple Q logo, whenever you see that color scheme, it's like that's a Q product, and so but hey, I'll ask them. Let's see here. Who's doing the live today? How's the Plum Crazy platform? Kind of looking at a purchase. What do you mean who's doing the live today? It's Monday night. It's my live stream. It's Clint. All right. And the Plum Crazy platform, it depends on what you're wanting to do. Quite frankly, it's an affordable, lower, things like that. And I'll say for me, it's, personally, it's not like my cup of tea, right? But at the same time, if I wanted something affordable for a range toy, something along those lines, I'd probably look at it, just for fun. It's nice and lightweight too. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's see here. Cyberphobe. Why is there so much playing between the upper and lower of every Q I've ever picked up? Is there? Huh. Well, I don't know. I can ask him. I don't really recall that being an issue on the ones that I've messed with. I don't know. So maybe if that's something that you've seen, I don't know. Like I said, these are all things I can ask. I can just go through the live stream from tonight and be like, hey, here they are, right? So there you go. We've got Squid Belly. Hey, what's up, fam? Who's here early still? What's up? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. And nope, not reading that one, Dan S. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Ross Sauce 12 at James of Classic. Jason, maybe? I noticed you shoot with your thumb on the other side when doing maneuvers with an SBR. Do you also do it with a handgun? I know about that technique for long range shooting. I don't think you could really get a good grip on the gun if it sits right here. If your thumb is over here, you know what I'm saying? Is that what you're talking about? I don't see that happening. And I will say that Jason, if that's who you're referring to, because that's the only person I'm thinking of that actually does shoot that way fairly often, and I think it has to do with him being able to manipulate the safety a little bit better, and I think it's just a comfort thing. I know for long range shooting, that's something too. You don't have to worry about unwrapping your thumb around the grip of the gun. It's just sitting right there. And while a lot of bolt guns and distance guns, precision guns will actually have a thumb rest sitting on the right side of the platform of the rifle. So that way your thumb can just sit right there in the ready to grab that bolt and then make that next shot, right? So it's all about speed in that one, right? So there you go. Okay. And I can talk to Jason about it. Like I said, I'll be seeing him this week. In fact, we just had a nice phone call today, planning everything out. All right. So let's see here. All right. So some of the questions are just absolutely silly, but whatever. We've got over here Yusuf Khan. Good to see you. Sir, which is the best LPVO scope for my AR-15? The best LPVO scope? Oh, man. Let me see. Hold on one second. I got something from a buddy of mine about some bulk carrier groups, because I might be in the market for another bulk carrier group, because when am I not? And thank you for letting me know if you're watching. And let's see here. So which is the best LPVO scope for my AR-15? That one's a loaded question, right? So the best LPVO scope? Like if I had to think about the best LPVO out there, man, that's a tough one. There are so many. I'm not going to lie. I am a really big fan of the SIG Tango 6, the military contract one. There is a difference between the commercial and the military. I am a fan of the Night Force ATACR. When we did like our battle of the LPVOs, I'm trying to remember, because that was a while ago and a lot of videos ago, about which one performed the best and things like that. When we shot, let's see, like the Is the Scope Lying to You, that video with our buddy who was at US Arms Co. and everything. I'm trying to think. Night Force was definitely on his recommendation of like a scope that was true, right? That was up there. Granted, still had some that were slightly flawed, but one that was definitely up there. So Night Force and the ATACR is definitely up there on my list. I do love the VCOG. Big fan of the VCOG. You know, I mean, we're talking best, right? So obviously, if you're going to ask me best, price is going to be. We're not even considering price, right? If you're saying best for the price, you know, let's say you want to spend only $1,000 on an LPVO, which I know I say only, but in comparison to how much a lot of these LPVOs cost, that's $1,000 isn't that bad. Man, there's a lot. So I'd say VCOG is on my list. I would say I like Vortex, but I think the Razor isn't one of my favorites. I want something with a forgiving eye relief. I want something with the reticle that's precise and easy to read. And that's why the ones that I've mentioned are coming to the top of my head. All right, so that's that for you. But I hope that answered some of your question, because like I said, there's so many out there too. If you're looking for more budget friendly and stuff that actually works, I'm going to always promote Swamp Fox, because those guys just do a good job. And I really actually like their products a lot. You know, I get that they're really budget friendly, and on a lot of Facebook groups, you know, Hollow Sun even gets a lot of shit and stuff like that. I'm like, I've never actually had any issues. They actually work pretty good. I've got a HS507KX2 on one of my 365s. Works great. So there's a lot that I think you guys could probably learn from there on that one, you know? So help our guys out, or help out our guy, Yusuf, everybody. And you guys tell me what you think for LPVOs. Where are you guys at on that? I'm curious. Let's see. Well, Nick is saying Swamp Fox QC is trash and customer service. Really? Interesting. Because I have heard the opposite from the retail side of things, but you know, again, I'm on the retail side of things. So there you go. We got Anarchy's Corner over here wanting to know, where is Ben? Bring me Mr. Ben. He's probably at home not wanting to do anything with video or even guns and just wants to spend time with his family. So there you go. Let's see here. Got one Mike saying Swamp Fox works for you. And of course, everybody's going to have their different, you know, standards. VCOG up in here. There you go. And, you know, there you have it. So that's a few of us for the VCOG there. I can tell you that much. I mean, that's solid shit, right? Dope. Let's see. We've got over here a couple more super chats that came through. We've got Randomly Epic. Why do I almost never see people running? It's actually in arm's reach this week. It's actually in arm's reach. Suppressor covers. I have them on mine, but I'm new to suppressors. Am I missing something? Yeah. Quality ones are hard to find. Ones that don't melt to your suppressor or melt off are hard to find. And that's why I run Liberty's Defense. There you have it right there. And this is on my RC2. and I plan on running the hell out of this suppressor within the next couple of days. And yeah, you'll get, I've also got one on my Huxworks Flow 556K, and they work really good. The FDE ones specifically do a great job at mitigating any type of thermal whatnot. So that's something to keep in mind. All right. And let's see here. Also, by the way, Jason is watching on the live. To the person that was asking about running his thumb on the other hand. And by the way, I'll get back to your randomly epic really quick, but I just want to get to what Jason is saying. Thanks for watching, bro. He says, I'm on the live, or I'm in the live. Only use my hand trick on a rifle, not a pistol. Keeps the parasympathetic, you would use big ass words right now, parasympathetic movement from my hand to affect my trigger finger. That's why I run a gun fast. You know, I work with Jason. I see him in person. And now I know. Things I'm going to try next time I'm at the range, right? Interesting. Thanks for watching, bro. And of course, thanks for answering. I don't even remember who it was that was asking now, but yeah, appreciate it, dude. And so that's why Jason, you'll see him on rifles run his thumb on the same side of his dominant hand, right side. And that's so he can shoot fast. And yeah, our man shoots fast. All right. So there you go. All right. Randomly epic. Back to it. Thanks again, Jason, for answering our buddy's question. I think you probably just don't see people running a lot of suppressor covers because the good ones are expensive. These Liberty's Defense covers, they're not cheap by any means. And they add a little bit of bulk and they add a little bit of weight to an already bulky and heavy device at the end of your muzzle. So some people just kind of deal with it, and it is what it is, right? I'll say this, suppressor covers definitely shine in rifle to pistol transitions and long range shooting. If you're not going to be doing a lot of that, then maybe it's not that big of a deal. But for me, I definitely like a suppressor cover because I'm all the time either running a magnified optic or I'm running drills at the range and going from a rifle to a pistol. And if you practice it enough and it becomes kind of like second place in your head, or just, it becomes, second nature, where you just kind of drop the rifle to where it's not going to mess with you. But I was out here shooting not too long ago, and I had my they're old, but whatever. I had 511 pants on, and yeah, my suppressor melted my pants right by my knee, actually right where my thigh, just above my knee. And I didn't notice it at that point in time. It wasn't enough to burn me, but it was enough to melt my pants. If I had my suppressor cover on, I wouldn't have another hole in my pants. You know what I'm saying? So really close really close to skin. I'm surprised it didn't actually burn me, but whatever. And so suppressor covers are good in that effect. For long range shooting, you get that mirage effect, especially if you're going to be shooting a lot of rounds on target at once. You'll notice that heat will create a mirage effect, and that'll actually, that distortion will become very clear, ironically, in your optic, especially magnified. And what that does is prevent you from having a clear view of your target. It gets all miragey, it gets all misshapen and everything, and it gets really hard to get precise hits on target. So suppressor covers have their place, but you got to find a quality one. Quality ones are expensive, and is it really worth it at the end of the day? That comes down to you. Depends on your suppressor cover. Randomly epic, I'd be curious as to what your suppressor cover is. Who makes yours? All right. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Diego Hernandez, thank you. Favorite flashlight and muzzle suppressor combo. Muzzle suppressor? Are you talking about a silencer? Favorite flashlight is the Surefire Turbo. I love the high output. I love the Candela for a rifle. For a pistol, just a standard X300. Cloud Defensive makes a great one too, but the thing that gets me about Cloud are their mounting systems. I don't like it. I don't like that you're having to mount something to the rail and then mount the flashlight to the mount that's mounted to the rail. It's just another, if you ask me, it's another piece of material that can fail. And I don't know if it's just somebody in the warehouse not correctly mounting them. I know we don't always use Loctite, but we've had it multiple times, especially the 308 boys that we've been shooting, where the light will wobble off, right? Or just get super, super loose. So that's something that I worry about. The Surefire ones, they already come with the yellow Loctite on the M-Lock screw thread. You screw it on, you tighten it down, you run it. And on top of that, the mounting, I like the, I can't remember what the mount is specifically called, but you can go from Picatinny or M-Lock, and it also has a swivel, so you tighten down that screw, and it'll lock the flashlight into that position. So if you want it to be completely at, let's say, a 3 o'clock position, you can. If you want it to be more of a 2:30 or 2 or 1 o'clock position, you can. If you want it to be down, you can. That's super cool. The high Candela. Again, the Surefire Turbo. As far as muzzle suppressor combo. Oh, muzzle device suppressor combo. Which one do I like the best? Because if you're talking like RC3 and War Comp, you pretty much got a flamethrower. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, and you don't want to do that, right? So, got it. That being said, the Surefire RC3 and a 3-prong, it's pretty good. Like, for instance, Huxworks, I'm obviously a huge fan of their silencers, but their muzzle devices, they're effective, they work. But for me, it's just something about them where I'm not absolutely in love with it. I'll run them so that way I can run the Huxworks can. Not in love with it. The Trash Panda and the Cherry Bomb by Q, who we'll be seeing later this week. And if you have questions about that, let me know. Kevin himself admits that the Cherry Bomb sucks to shoot. And I'm like, well, that's great marketing. Buy one of our cans and you'll see why we love the Cherry Bomb in collaboration with the Trash Panda, in collaboration with the Honey Badger, and you're going to see how awesome it is to shoot. And you're like, yeah, you're right. It's a trifecta that you need to try at least once in your life, and you'll probably wind up buying all of them. So there you go. My favorite muzzle suppressor combo will probably still be the RC2 and a 3-prong. Not the War Comp, just the base 3-prong, right? Again, this thing, I've got so many rounds through. I've shot it off the end of my barrel before because I got carbon lock from a War Comp, and I've dented this can. I've not treated it nicely whatsoever, and it just keeps running. Most of it's been through my 10-3 Mark 18, and it just runs. That being said, I really love the reduced back pressure cans. There we go, if I can speak. Reduced back pressure cans like from Huxworks and everything else that work great, So there you go. I think I answered your question, right? Thank you, Diego. Appreciate the super chat. Joe, thank you. Once I asked you about my 300 Blackout build not feeding rounds and jamming. Okay, lighter buffer fixed it. I know you were dying to know. You don't need to worry. Joe, appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad to know that it's working good now and that you don't have that problem and that a lighter buffer fixed it. So I'm guessing it was probably something along the lines of, if it was too heavy of a buffer, it probably wasn't fully ejecting, right? So that was, you probably had a failure to eject, I would assume, if my thinking is correct, all right? But there you have it. That's great. Great to see, Joe. I saw another super chat come in and all, but I want to get back over to the comments, and I'll get to you really quick, Eli, here in just a moment. But I want to get to what some of you guys are having to say, like MNM J2300 over here. Our Piston AR-15s. Ooh, I just had this discussion last week. DI versus Piston, and I think this is a great topic. Are Piston AR-15s as relevant now that suppressors like Huxworks have come on to the market? My answer there is yes. Are they relevant? Yes. Because at the end of the day, DI, direct impingement suppressors, as proven as they are, they still shit where they eat. You're still going to get back pressure, even with reduced back pressure cans like the flow-through design and technology of the Huxworks. You're still going to get all that, right? You're still going to get not as much, but a little bit back into the system. And yeah, that dirties it up and clogs it up over a period of time. And what you're going to notice is if you haven't shot a flow-through can on a Piston AR, you need to try it because it's nice. It's really nice. It's like the best, because here's what you don't understand. Piston ARs are still pretty gassy, especially if you shoot one, a shorty, like with an RC2 or something like that, or the SPS 300, which is their 7.62 can for 300 Blackout. You can shoot all the way up to 300 Win Mag, I think, but it's designed specifically for 300 Blackout. And you'll notice that piston guns, shorty piston guns, are still pretty gassy, and that's something to keep in mind of. So I would say Piston AR-15s are actually more relevant with flow-through cans like Huxworks, because that collaboration is awesome. You combine those two, like for instance, the Scar 16. I've never really been in love with the Scar 16. I thought it was overpriced for a 5.56 gun. It's like, wow, okay, you know, this is ridiculous. And then we threw a silencer on it. We threw specifically a Huxworks as our first silencer feature at CF Contest. We threw a Huxworks Flow 5.56K on it, and that was probably the most fun I had shooting a suppressed gun ever. It blew my mind. And so there you have it. All right. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit there. Okay. Let's see here. Anarchy's Corny. Clint, any chance of you going to see Paul Harrell's symposium before he passes? I'm not going to say there's not a chance, but things are super busy right now. And I would love to make that a priority. And that might be something I do on my own, quite frankly. So stay in tune for that. Okay. Let's see here. Double ZZ Ranch. Will you do a shoot with some other big YouTube guys? And again, a lot of these questions I think could also be asked to Kevin at Q. So, you know, if it's one like specifically for me, you can say at Clint, whatever, or if this is something you'd like for me to ask Kevin Brittingham, feel free to throw that as well. For instance, like with Kevin Yeager, I'll get to your next question, or to your question next. I see you. But Double ZZ Ranch, will you do a shoot with some other big YouTube guys? Okay, so if you watch some of our SHOT Show footage, you'll see that we filmed podcasts with Deer Meat for Dinner. We have a call with him tomorrow. We also interviewed LMT, who maybe has finally sent us some upper receivers to blow up or melt down with Golden Web. If you don't know who Golden Web is, you might want to check him out, because he's doing some pretty fun stuff with full autos to, well, see the performance and its longevity, and whether or not an Aero Precision upper will have a higher round count through full auto fire than a Knight's Armament will. So, you know, go check his channel out. I think you'll have a really good time. Okay. So do we plan to do a shoot with some other big YouTube guys? The answer is yes. All right. Kevin Yeager, has Kevin Brittingham changed your mind about some of the industry at all? Yeah. Before meeting Kevin, you know, you can assume all you want about somebody based off of what you know about them through word of mouth or what you see on social media. And what I learned about Kevin is he's exactly who you see on social media, but when you actually sit and have a conversation with him, you learn so much. It's literally mind-blowing. And it was like, oh, wow. And so not only has he changed my mind about the industry some, but also technology. And I don't think you guys understand how much I'm really like looking forward to having another conversation with him. So that's just going to be a really good time. So yes. All right. Let's see here. We've got Jay. What's up? There he is. Favorite suppressor cover, ModTac USA. There he is. That's our man that I was talking about before, shooting with the right hand of the, you know what I'm saying? So ModTac USA, I haven't had any, is that the one that's on your, oh shit. You've got it on one of your guns, don't you? Let us know. But yeah. All right, Eli, let me get to your super chat over here. Appreciate it, man. What do-it-all AR-15 do you recommend for $1,500? Have money for optics, gear, and ammo. That's just the baseline I'd like to spend for the gun itself. Smart man. I'm glad that you kind of set a budget up for firearm, for rifle, optic, accessories, or maybe you want to have optic and then accessories in a separate category, ammo in a separate category. How much did you budget for training? And perhaps a good battle belt setup and different gear, things like that, right? I would say $1,500. Do it all. I'm going to look up the MR. I'm not going to even go to our website. I want to look up the MSRP on... All right, you guys comment down below. Which rifle do you think I'm looking up right now for the perfect dual carbine for that price point? What do you guys think it is? Okay. You can get... So close. I was going to say, so LWRCI has their DI AR with complete ambi controls, everything else like that. From their website, you're looking at about two grand or so, okay? Wait a minute. Okay, so about 1,800 from their website. If I go to our website, I'm just curious if we have them in stock, and I want to look it up. But I'm telling you right now, the LWRCI DI gun, ambi controls, mono forging, everything else I want in a gun pretty much. That one's really hard to beat, and I'm just going to say on our website, price is a little bit better. And on top of that, it's in stock. And on top of that, the furniture that you get, it's not like, like, I'm not going to say it's like the best furniture ever, but I will say that it's the type of furniture that's on a rifle that I actually like, and it's not going to be something that I immediately take off. Like the Daniel Defense furniture, first thing I do is get rid of that stock, and actually the first thing I do is get rid of the damn grip, and then the stock. If it's got like A2 grips and M4 stocks, it's gone. It's going away. I don't care. And but the LWRCI DI guns is exactly what I'd want. That's a couple $100 over your budget, however. So that's something to keep in mind. With that being said, you guys already know I love the IWI Zion. For the price point and everything else, it's awesome. It's where it's at. Again, I'm going to shout out one of our buddies that's a avid viewer, and that's Rostic Arms, Smart Shooters LLC. He's passionate, stands behind his products, and you can just see what this industry and what the Second Amendment means to him. So that's another one you can take a look at as well. But I'm going to throw it out there, though. That LWRCI, it's cool. And it looks cool with the spiral fluting and everything, So there you have it, all right? But Eli, I hope that answers your question. I gave you a couple of recommendations over there, and I gave you a couple other things to think about as well, because keep in mind, optics, gear, and ammo, that's just the baseline. So I'm glad you said optics, gear, and ammo, because if you ask me, that's 3 separate categories, right? A good quality sling, good light, some things to have on a dual rifle. As far as an optic goes, a little bit of magnification, again, for a dual is smart and good. So there you have it. Let us know what you come up with, man. I'm excited to see it. I love it when people get over that. The one and only Nicole is the honey badger, your wife's nickname. Because she don't care? Oh, she cares. And no. That's good. Let's get on over here. Speaking of Paul Harrell, the one and only Nicole saying R.I.P. Paul Harrell. Don't say things like that, right? He's still around. Unless there's some news that broke that's going to make me really sad. But there you go. Coming back up, I saw another couple of super chats come through. I want to make sure I don't miss any. And we've got Brandon Melendez. Any experience with Silencer Co. Hybrid 46M, currently in approval jail. And I forget about that. And yes, it's heavy for a pistol silencer, but it's a hybrid silencer, and it can do pretty much all calibers, which is really cool. That's all the way up to like 45-70. That's why it's hybrid 46, right? And for that's really cool. It's a do all. So for a pistol can, I'm like, it's pretty heavy, right? But since you can throw it also on a rifle, that's pretty cool. So my experience with it is favorable in that sense. I'm more of a dedicated host kind of guy. I like the idea of having cans I can bounce from one gun and one caliber and things like that. But me, I like the idea also of having one silencer for one job on one gun type of thing. That also gets really expensive. in tax stamps alone, which really sucks. So, which, by the way, if you don't support organizations like Gun Owners of America, you definitely should. Why? Because they're a no compromise 2A advocacy group and organization, and they definitely stand behind statements such as repeal the NFA and abolish the ATF. So there you go. We got Otter back in the chat. Good to see you. Is there going to be more Bust Your Builds videos, and how do I enter anyway? Yes, there is. And just so everybody knows, bustyourbuilds@gmail.com. Otter, hope you're doing well. Been a while since we've seen you. Good to see you. We've got David over here doing a super chat. David Swaggins. Good to see you. Thank you guys so much all for the super love. Appreciate you all. And Matt is asking a solid question. Matt Morrison, are Daniel Defense rifles mid-tier rifles? Their price tag would say that they're not mid-tier, but overall, I would give them mid-high. Mid-high is probably where I'd go with them for most of them. All right, so there you go. Let's see here. Don't ask me questions like this, Matthias. What do you choose? Between HK 416 versus Daniel Defense Mark 18. That 416 that I got to hold and play with at SHOT Show this past year at HK's booth, that the Marine Corps is adopting for their Special Operations Command, MARSOC, I immediately fell in love with. And I also don't have as much experience with the 416, but I do have a lot of experience with the Mark 18. Like a lot. I own one, right? I've shot one full auto suppressed plenty of times, and it's a great gun. But I got to tell you, at the end of the day, if I literally had my Mark 18 and a 416 SBR in front of me, and I was told to choose one, if anybody from Daniel Defense is watching, I'm sorry, I'd probably choose the 416. All right, I'm just... Okay. Mike, would I trust any P320? Yes. At the end of the day, I would. A lot of the issues that were discovered early on were issues that should have been discovered in R&D, no doubt, but they were discovered and they were fixed. A lot of the issues I think that we're starting to see, or not starting to, that we have seen recently, like, guns going off because when they were drawing out of the holster, stuff like that, I think is actually from idiots. Okay. Not knowing, not seeing any of the evidence, not knowing, not having been there, things like that. But I've been running 320s, different 320s for a couple years now, and not once. And I've even had one fall out of my holster, and guess what it didn't do? Go off. And that's because I was not running the correct holster for it, and I forgot to close the hood. Stupid thing on my part, but what are you going to do? And it did fall out of my holster into gravel, not pavement or concrete, but into gravel, and it didn't go off. It was just laying there on the floor like, why'd you drop me? What are you going to do? On top of that, I've been very rough with mine, been very not nice to them, and I've never had issues, and this is personal experience. So there you go. All right. But would I trust any 320 since you're throwing it out there? Not any 320, because sometimes people do stupid things to their personal guns. And if somebody hands me a gun that they've done all sorts of crazy work to, and they said, here, take this, run it in this next competition, or, on this next mission, whatever, I'd be like, I'll take mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be completely fine, but I don't know that. And that's why a lot of the guns that you see in armories aren't messed with. So there you go. Loudon Kofi, sup Clint, love your content, keep it up, appreciate that, thank you so much. Thank you guys, all of you, really, for all the support. Actually, for I've been in this role for 5 years now, and it's had its ups and downs, but one thing that's been consistent is you guys. All of y'all have made this very much so worth it, and thank you. I really appreciate it. And like I said, if you want to keep up with me, my @ is like right, there. All right. So there you have it. Let's see here. Let me get back to a couple more. I think I got to you guys all about would I trust any 320 and whatnot. This one I'm actually excited to talk about. Old Kid 74. Can I suppress? Get it? Can. A 12.5-inch arrow upper with a Yankee Hill Turbo T3 without issues. Now, I've owned a Yankee Hill can, the TI 30 cal can, for years. That was actually my first suppressor. And I was suppressing my 10.3-inch Mark 18 with it. Gassy as all get out. But it worked, and it worked fine, and I still run that can. I actually shot that can recently on video on my AR-10 build. And as far as can you suppress a 12.5-inch arrow upper on a Yankee Hill with a Yankee, I'm going to assume yes. But if we go to Yankee Hill's website, they usually give you specifications onto whether or not you can shoot 5.56. Like what are the minimum or the maximum parameters, I guess you could say, right? So Turbo T3, if I go to Yankee Hill's website, 1/2x28 materials, here's a spec sheet. There you go. Minimum barrel length, 5.56 NATO, 10-inch minimum barrel length, full auto rated. You're good. And that's right on Yankee Hill's website. So you're welcome for that. That'll be $10. All right. Thanks, Old Kid 74, for tuning in. Thanks for the comment. And a lot of other people also might have that question, about also just needing to know that information, right? Hey, I'm spending $200 in taxes. In addition to $1,000+ on this silencer, I am curious if it's going to run effectively without damage on whatever, on A, B, C, right? And so I totally get asking the question, but a lot of the times the manufacturer, if they're transparent and honest with you, will have the limitations on their website. So it's amazing what Google will do for you. All right. We got Brian over here responding to Ellie. For an all-in build of $1,500, you almost have to go PSA. Interesting. Their new class of ARs are amazing and have many upgraded components standard, leaving you enough money for food, optics, and lights. I mean, that's a recommendation. BCM is another great the hell am I trying to say? Manufacturer. And I started laughing at this Rumble comment. Dickus one. This OnlyFans sucks. Take off your shirt. Solid. I love you guys. Oh my God. Hard-earned bacon, BCM, agreed. So there you go. BCM is all over the place. Every last one of you guys. Oh, hey, look, it's John. What's up, dude? BCM. I think a lot of you guys are definitely going to agree with BCM. And I think our friend Otter can get behind Nick here with Sons of Liberty Gunworks also being another one. So there you go. Again, this is why I say it all the time. The community is awesome because a lot of you guys, look, I'm on the spot. I'm answering first things that come to mind. And then you guys say stuff like SOLGW, like BCM and everything else. And it's like, oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad you guys are helping out another viewer, which is awesome. But yeah, can't go wrong with BCM. So there you have it. And that's BCM only costs you roughly $1,600 recce. And that's a great one. So there you have it. Q Sugar Weasel, best $15 AR by far. And the Sugar Weasel is pretty dope. That is the gun that you see in the thumbnail. That's the word I was looking for. So there you guys have it, all right? Let's see here. Ted Phillips is saying he got a Mark 18 upper from Optics Planet for $1,000 for a few years ago. Couldn't say no to that. Yeah, no, that's true. Thoroughbred Armament also every now and then gets some really cool, like, mil spec type stuff every now and then, which is awesome. So there you go. I wouldn't doubt it, Michael. Is it true that Hornady is trying to make an 8.6 knockoff? They definitely see, and if you listen to our podcast or watched our podcast with Kevin and him starting to talk about the faster twist rate with 8.6 and its effect on target, I wouldn't put it past some of these larger ammo manufacturers saying, oh, we can make something similar but better. We have the capabilities and the engineering and the tooling and everything else to do this. Let's do it. Let's make it better. And what does Kevin do? He says he invites him to. Yeah, do it. And if you can do it better, so be it. If you can do it better. So it'd be interesting if you ask me. There's Ryan. Again, LWRCI, BCM, or Q Sugar Weasel, all around 1600. So there you go. Jonathan Daly, thank you for asking. How's the no drinking going? Actually, really well. Even though the State of the Union was this past week, I did good. I did really good. I just didn't watch it. And and you'll see I've got just H2O in there, guys. That is not gin. That's not vodka. That's not tequila. That's just water. Stay hydrated, boys and girls. It's good for you. So there you go. I got to your super chat, Otter. I got to it, and I see a couple more that are coming through. I got you, homie. Don't worry, all right? And the Buster Builds, like I said, because that was Otter's super chat, busterbuilds@gmail.com. All right, David, getting back to you, man. Do you think Canik will become as popular and become much bigger than the market as Glock? If yes or no? No. And here's why. Glock, first of all, have been around for decades. Will they get, put it this way, will they become a household name kind of like Glock has? Perhaps, right? In the gun industry, Canik, I think, actually is more sought after. Everybody kind of knows what a Glock is. It's a plastic brick that is reliable, right? Okay, great. Canik, on the other hand, it looks good. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's ergonomic, has a much better trigger. It has all sorts of goodies that come in the box. I know that shouldn't be like that big of a deal, but you know, it is. And across the board, all of their guns pretty much share the same magazine, other than, you know, compacts and subcompacts, things like that. But they pretty much all share the same magazine, which is pretty cool too. Glocks can be said the same thing with like the Glock 17 and the Glock 19. You know, you can share those mags, except that 19 mag won't go into 17 because it's too short, things like that, you know. So they've got similar advantages, I guess you could say. But at the end of the day, Glock, it's one of those things where it's like, it's just a household name. Do I see Canik being bigger than Glock in that regards? Like what you're always going to be hearing in the news is going to be Glock, right? It's your Glock 40 problem solver at the end of the day. It's not your Canik 40. They don't make one, right? You know, so what Glock has to offer, I think, is a little bit larger. They cover a little bit more, especially if they ever release that Glock AR. You know, so there's that. But everybody that's knows, kind of like Canik, like you get a better bang for the buck, you know. Now the collaboration that they did with Terran Tactical and the TTI Combat, you know, that, especially if it's going to be used in, like, I don't know, the next John Wick movie, that might be a pretty big deal for them. And yeah, you know, I don't see Canik becoming as popular like that, but maybe, just maybe. All right, what do you guys think about that? That's a really, really good question. And yeah, there we go. And thank you, Jadrin 4585. Forgot to mention the Q Sugar Weasel 5.56 16-inch for the $1,500 price tag. You guys got it right here. And again, I'm sure it's going to be something we talk about later this week when we go visit them. What up, homie? Boone, Firearms Education Network. Good to see you, man. Thank you, dude. Hope you're doing all right, man. You doing all right? You doing good? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for the super chat. And Crash82 is saying, hey, Clint, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, Crash. I hope you're doing all right, bro. And let's get on down here. Oh, this man's speaking the truth. Jessica Simp 44. Good to see you, dude. I know I've seen you a little bit here in the comments, and I keep forgetting to click on you because I get distracted by, you know, I just get easily distracted. But you're absolutely right. Gun Owners of America is 1,000% better than the NRA. Why? Some of you might be asking. Because GOA isn't taking your money and, well, getting it stolen by Wayne LaPierre, for one. And two, they're actually not supporting anti-gun legislation. They're actually fighting anti-gun legislation all the time. So Yeah. Greg, he's asking, where's Alec? You know, Alec and I just had a conversation not too long ago, catching up a little bit, and he's doing really good. And so, you know, I miss the guy. He and I are on camera. Chemistry was awesome and a lot of fun. And it's really hard to find that, you know what I mean? And he and I caught up for a few, and yeah, he's doing good though. He's doing really good. Let's see here. Mike Cubria, don't do tax stamps. What's the best other options? I was going to make a joke about oil filters, but you know, all right, look, obviously don't break the law. Okay. I'm going to say that. Don't break the law, you know, but also you're an adult and make your own decisions. So there you have it. The other options instead of like SBRs are pistol options, but there's also contingencies on that as well. Just something to keep in mind. Okay. And, let me see here really quick. 1 second. Oh, sweet. Good. It's, my buddy Auburn from Huxworks and, Gun Butter just saying hi. So yeah, thanks guys. With all that, oh, this is the one and only Nicole. Tax stamps are illegal. You can't tax a right. Yes. Yes, fireworks. Where are they at? There they are. That's awesome. That is exactly the right words and what should be said. And I 1000% agree with that. Just like I 1000 agree with the 1000% GOA being better than the NRA. So there you have it. And Otter is saying that your build is going to be so busted. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And let's see. Volkman79, Clint, where's my gun, homie? I don't know, dog. If you bought it from Classic, it's either at the warehouse or with FedEx. I guess. I don't know. So good luck, I guess, or something, you know. Let's see here. Daniel Murray's wanting to know any word from when Q will sell a 300 Blackout upper for the Honey Badger for people that have bought the new 5.56 Honey Badger and want to have the ability to shoot 300. That's a great question that I can ask them. Again, I'm going to go back through this and write down a lot of these questions. In fact, I should probably just write down the timestamp on a lot of this stuff. So that way I'll just watch it again. Screw it. I hate watching myself, but whatever it is, what it is. But there you got. I'll ask that question, you know, like, hey, you know what the people might like for anybody that bought a 5.56 Honey Badger? 300 Blackout upper. Or for anybody that might just want to have a 300 Blackout Honey Badger upper to throw on their pistol or SBR build, right? So there you go. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm in Adnock Munitions. Good to see you, man. As a DD lover, I have to agree. 416 is a different animal. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Zakow 2 wants to know my thoughts on the whole super safety raid. That was the oh god, Bros. What's their name? Bros. Why am I drawing a blank right now? It's the God, I can't remember. But anyway, it's something Twin Bros, something like that, LLC, that got raided because I made the super safety, which I don't have any experience with. But what my thoughts on the whole thing is nobody should be getting raided for anything firearms related unless they committed crimes outside of owning or designing or building something, because those aren't crimes. You know what I'm saying? Granted, and oh my God, this is going to go on a whole tangent because the entire idea of ownership, right? Like, hey, if you're a felon, you shouldn't own a gun. Well, if you're also not trusted to be in society and exercise your rights responsibly, then maybe you shouldn't be free. Maybe you should still be in prison. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe that felons actually should get their rights back. And if you disagree with that, well, the entire premise of that idea is if you can't trust them in society to contribute to society and exercise their rights responsibly, or to exercise their rights, why are they free? Will I ever trust a rapist with a firearm? No, absolutely not. With that being said, why is he free? He should be dead because the victim should have had a gun on him and killed him. You know what I'm saying? Or he should be in prison for the rest of his life. It's kind of simple if you ask me, but it's an entire... It's a whole lot different thought process than just saying, well, felons should get their gun rights back. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot deeper than that surface level type of comment. So with that being said, things like designing and producing a super safety, for instance, that might mimic a faster rate of fire or full auto fire, that's nothing to be rated about. But in the thought process of the United States government, that has every reason to be rated for. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. It's so frustrating. Sober March. It's very difficult so far. It's actually not that difficult. It actually came a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. You know, I still have a liquor cabinet full of stuff, a beer fridge full, and every now and then I'll go and walk by it or grab something non-alcoholic out of the beer fridge because, you know, we got sodas and stuff like that too. I'm actually become more of a root beer guy now. And I look at it and I don't even feel any type of way. I really thought I was actually going to struggle with this entire sobriety thing a lot more than I haven't. So I'm really proud of that fact because every now and then I'm thinking, man, a cold beer would be really good. And then I drink some cold water and I'm like, I'm not craving it. And I feel better after I drink water, unlike beer. All right. So with that being said, my thoughts on the super safety raid, you got that. And JMB wants to know what I'm building at Q, what they allow me to build. We'll see. All right. I think it'll be pretty fun. Thoughts on Canik. I kind of talked about Canik already a little bit. Integrati. Again, I think they make awesome guns for an awesome price, and there you have it, right? So there you go with that. Let's see here. Going back to the 320 talk from Keith H. Good to see you, Keith. Hope you're doing all right. 320 X10 is a trustworthy and great gun. I agree. Mike, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, bro. Hopefully my answer to your question is sufficient. Thank you so much. And by the way, I just want to point this out really quick. I don't know what's going on, but this is the most amount of viewers we've had on one live stream. We're approaching, according to StreamYard here, 1,400 viewers. And I want to thank every last one of you for tuning in. It means the world to me that you'd want to spend your Monday evening talking to some guy on the internet for a couple of hours. And thank you guys again so much. It literally means everything. Without you, I wouldn't really be here. So thank you guys so much. And with that, we'll continue on now. And let's see here. I just want to know, Keyboard Warrior, good to see you. I just want to know whether you are a pig or a hog. I don't know how to answer that. I'll be honest with you. And I don't know if there is a right answer. I'll just let you make up your mind for me, make up an assumption, and we'll go from there, okay? All right. So with that, Bourbon and Beard. I like the name. When will you live up to the name Classic Firearms and do a lever gun build? Ooh, coming out sharp here. Maybe a collab with Ranger Point Precision. Well, let's just say I'm really good friends with Henry. Henry Repeating Arms, of course. And I'm telling you, I've got an idea, but also I got to run it by the team and make sure that, you know, they're cool with it, things like that. Make sure that lever guns will, you know, bring the views and everything. And I think they will, quite frankly, especially a collab with Ranger Point Precision. I think would be a lot of fun. All right. I am also a fan, Brozovic, of Ballistic Advantage, who has a couple of the Cold Hammer Forged Hansen profile barrels. I, in fact, have that on my AR-10 build that I'm looking at right now that I just shot a video on last week because I'm proud of that build and I love it, and it was my first build. Yep, I built an AR-10 before I built an AR-15 because I straight up wanted to have a 308. I already had a couple of 5.56s. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Cool. Let's see here. Minadak Munitions again. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in and wanting to know what's the best favorite way to mitigate gas blowback on a suppressed AR. Honestly, adjustable gas blocks are great, right? But one of the easiest things to do is buffer, a heavier buffer, and a flow-through can. And yeah, that's some of the easiest stuff that I've found. But yes, an adjustable gas block is like awesome, by the way. I have not tried Bootleg's adjustable bolt carrier group. Maybe that's something that you guys can school me on. There's also the bolt carrier group that deflects the gas down into the magazine, which when you think about it, it sounds kind of like, oh, then it's just blowing it on your ammo, which gets shot immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, dude. And if you've ever taken out your mag after shooting suppressed, even if it's just a couple rounds, you'll see that those gases are coming back anyway and going down into the mag, and you'll see just how oxidized. I wonder if I have I know I do somewhere, but I have a round that's just like blue, right? The casing and everything, because I've just had carbon blown into it from shooting suppressed, and I kept it and put it somewhere because I figured I'd show it on video one day, and where do I have it to talk about? Damn it. Anyway, there you have it. So that's probably one of my favorite ways to mitigate the gas. Oh, duh. The charging handle. The charging handle is also probably one of the best ways of going about it as well. And then you kind of combine all of these, and that's when you get like a perfect fill, I guess you could say, for shooting suppressed. You know, you get a decent can with reduced back pressure, you get an adjustable gas block, you get a heavier buffer, and you get a gas reducing charging handle, like the Geisley supercharging handle, which is one of my absolute favorites. And you're going to be rocking and rolling, you know? But the charging handle and the buffer are probably the easiest ways to go about. So, Mike, good to see you, Mike. You want my MP5? I love my MP5, all right? And you can't have it. I'm sorry. So let's keep on trucking here. Oh, Air Dreams 1. Want to know what entry level, I'm assuming ARs, to stay away from. Entry level. To stay away from. So when I think entry level, I'm thinking like something that I might be getting for the first time, that I might use, you know, as a defensive firearm, whatever. And with that, we can go back to like some of the plumb crazy stuff that we were talking about before. I probably wouldn't want one of those as an entry level gun, or maybe you would, you know, I don't know, but not something that I particularly would want. I would stay away from like really expensive guns too. Not because you're like afraid to damage them or anything. Like, run your guns. You know what I'm saying? Get dings, get dents, get scratches. At the end of the day, it's only going to look cooler. And with that, it also shows that you shoot them as you should. And I would stay away from the expensive stuff, because what I found on my entry guns, like my first AR I ever bought was like a Rock River. What I found out really quick was I wanted to change everything about it. I wanted a different barrel. I wanted a different rail. I wanted a different grip, different stock, different this, different that. And I went and started doing all that. And it ultimately kind of turned into a build when I could have saved money and just built it outright. You know what I'm saying? So I think everything on that gun was switched out except for pretty much the lower receiver. I switched out the trigger. I switched out... I kept the takedown pins, you know, they were factory. But yeah, a lot of things I just swapped out over time. And then I put it back all together and sold it and kept the stuff that I purchased aftermarket and put it on other guns. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's that, but I would say stay away from the expensive ones, because what you're paying for, you might not like at the end of the day. You'll find out what you like later on. So there you have it. Let's see here. Oh my God. What is wrong with you, General Lee? I had my MOE SL grip replaced with an A2 grip. Am I a heretic? Clint. You're wrong. How do I feel about the PTR suppressor? After talking with Mike about that, Grand Thumb, And, on my Instagram, you can find it on I also linked it to the Classic Firearms SHOT Show coverage where we talk about some of the suppressor technology from PTR. It seemed really, really interesting and really cool. I'm excited, but unfortunately, I don't have any experience shooting the PTR suppressor yet. So stay tuned. LDS 32, will you and Classic be at NRA this year? I don't know yet. NRA, it's one of those things where it's like, do we go? And, I know that's where we cut our teeth. That was the first event in 2019 where I conducted my first interview. I think it was with like Kalashnikov USA. I think we were each other's first interviews, and then it's so funny to me. It's like, actually, like, I get almost kind of emotional about it because this has been my job. This has been what I've been so passionate about doing for the past several years. And it's, learning so much about the industry and about all the different things that the industry's bringing to the market. And then on top of that, I get to know and meet these people. Scott over at LWRCI, you saw me interview him this past year, and I saw him and he's like, dude, do you remember when you interviewed me for the first time like a couple years ago? And I'm like, yeah, dude, you just started with LWRCI. And he's like, do you know how nervous I was? And now I do this like every day. And he's like, thank you for like, just doing that and making me feel comfortable. And I'm like, man. And there's so many stories like that all the time. And I think about that. The first time I did all this was at NRA of 2019. And I will say I like going to the NRA annual meet because it's open to the public and I get to see a lot of you guys. And I use these events to kind of like, see my friends, right? Because you make a lot of friends in this industry and we all live all over the world actually. And, this year though, it's like, do we go? And I'll be honest about why, right? First of all, the NRA just has, it's got negativity on both sides. The anti-gunners don't like the NRA, and the true pro-gunners don't like the NRA because not only do they not do enough, but they do so much of what is wrong. And then they just keep taking members' money and doing what with it? Giving it to Wayne LaPierre, no more, but they're still paying him like millions of dollars. So, right. And so it's like, do we want to still like, and the views aren't that great. Like I said, anytime you just associate NRA, it's just like bad. Right. But at the same time, it's like, in one way, I like to kind of still support the NRA because as long as like all the really big anti-gunners and anti-gun legislation keeps using them as the punching bag, but you've got organizations like Gun Owners of America who's actually fighting the fight, let them do that behind the scenes and don't let them take so much heat. Let the NRA keep taking the heat. You know what I mean? And then they might watch this and be like, well, you're definitely not going to the NRA. Well, whatever. It is what it is at this point. So, will I and Classic be at NRA this year? I don't know. Classic in one way or another? Might be, probably. Yes, will be. But me? That's up in there. So we'll see. Comment down below, all over the place. Should I go? Let me know, okay? With that, thank you guys so much for tuning in again. I see how many of you guys there are. That's awesome. And Jessica Simp 44 NRA sucks. It's unfortunate. They had the potential to do something great and they compromised and they kept giving. And actually, I shouldn't even say they compromised because never at one point in time did they ever say, okay, we'll give you, let's just say, the bump stock ban. If you give us, can still carry national reciprocity. That's compromise. The problem with anything anti-2A is there's never a true compromise. It's just take, never any give. So when people say, and any type of anti-gunner wants to argue, says, why can't you just compromise? Okay, what is your compromise? Tell me. And what they will tell you is an infringement, illegal, and ultimately at the end of the day, a theft of your rights. And that's that. And then you say, okay, let me actually give you an example of a compromise. And that's when you say bump stock ban can still carry national reciprocity, something along those lines. Or how about this? I'll give you all of the pistol braces, right? except for those that actually might need it, like handicapped individuals, things like that, right? I'll give you all the pistol bracelets if you get rid of the NFA. See what I'm saying? That would be a compromise. All right. You get rid of the Gun Control Act, and I will gladly no longer support forced reset triggers. You know what I'm saying? How about that? So, actually, I wouldn't, because I still appreciate the innovation. I would still say it's cool for people to have some things out there like that. I would still support innovation in the marketplace. So, it's hard to say that I wouldn't support this or support that. But at the end of the day, it's all an infringement and shouldn't exist anyway. And if anybody wants to challenge you on what a compromise is, you can tell them, no, what you are is a tyrant and you shouldn't be doing this. And that's all there is to it. Continuing on, Anarchy's Corner, leather versus Kydex. And we'll continue on. Brian Duchesne, P.S. I misread the question about the $1,500 AR. I read it to be his total amount to spend for a whole package for $1,500. No, he was smart, budgeted out $1,500 for the rifle, and he's got a different budget for optics, gear, ammo, things like that. So there you go. Let's continue on right on over here. I want to make sure I don't miss all the super chats. Come on over here. Coming back a little bit. All right, here. Hold on. You guys are asking some really good questions here. And I missed quite a few of the super chats, so I'm getting to them now. I was probably going on my rant about what is compromise. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And boom, here we go. Unhealthy salad. Surprise fact, most of them are. How much to bump my Bust Your Build submission to the next episode? Also, thoughts on the Otter Creek Polo 30. That's funny. I'm literally just going to go in line. And I told you guys I had to turn off my notifications to that email, bustyourbuilds@gmail.com. And so with that, I'm going to go over to it right now. And I see quite a few of them are coming in right about 8 o'clock, which is right when I started mentioning it. A lot of them today and this evening. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And, oh, boy. Y'all are too much. We've got enough to last a long time. I will say that right now. And you can't pay me or Classic to bump your Bust Your Build. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I can already assume somebody is going to listen and say, yes, they can. Oh, God. So we'll see how that goes. Thoughts on Otter Creek? Awesome. The Polo 30, I have no experience. I'm sorry. But how much to bump your Bust Your Build submission? I can't do that. I can't do that. Can I? I could, but I'm not going to. All right. That's just, I got to have a little integrity here. All right. So I got to get them as they come. That's all there is to it. Thank you, though. Unhealthy salad. I appreciate it. Eric, learn stuff. What happened to car arms? I used to see them everywhere. They are still out there. I think they're still doing a lot of the like the Tommy guns and all that type of stuff. They changed. I saw them recently. Actually, no, I talked with them at SHOT Show briefly. They are still in existence, but I think they did like some sort of restructuring. They still exist though, and I can't remember what the story was now. They still exist. I know that much. Okay, Vince, Clint, be honest. How can we be ready for what's to come in the U.S.? Well, what's to come, Vince? You know what I mean? So, long answer, short. The best way you can be ready for any type of bad day is to ultimately plan and be prepared. And the biggest thing you can do is probably stop relying on others. And that includes going to the grocery store. That includes going and trusting the government to do anything. And I'm sorry, that also includes local law enforcement. Sometimes you got to take matters into your own hand. They are a responsive force, a reactive force, not a preventative. You know, you can see them all over the place, and maybe perhaps that'll deter some crime, but you can see it at concerts all the time. You have a large police force that are providing security. You got off-duty cops that are providing security for concerts or whatever, but you still see crime take place all over. So it's like, you know? And if I keep touching the brim of my hat, it's because like there's a hair right there that I can't get. But anyway, it just did that stupid thumbs up again. But the best way to be ready is to become more self-sufficient is ultimately what I'm trying to say. Long answer short, become more self-sufficient and be able to take a monopoly on violence. Because at the end of the day, the government right now has a monopoly on violence, which is wrong. That's how that's how tyrants are made, right? When the populace has the monopoly of violence, you typically have peace, right? Or you have factions and, tribal warfare, which could also be bad. So you have to have kind of a balance, right? But with that, a lot has to do with being self-sufficient and being able to protect yourself, because those that cannot are going to find those that can to take advantage of them, right? So, and you see that happen. Any natural disaster, any riot, quote unquote, mostly peaceful protests, so those that can provide for themselves need to also be able to defend themselves, because in the time of unrest, police aren't going to be there to protect you. You are going to be your first and last line of defense. And that's just a matter of truth. Like I said, we have seen it throughout time and time again, throughout the course of history, that an unarmed populace or unarmed individual is quickly to become a subject or a victim. Don't allow that to happen. So, ammo up, farm up, become trained, become efficient, become dangerous. If you're not dangerous, you're gonna be used and abused. That's all there is to it, right? There's nothing wrong with being dangerous and having the potential to be dangerous. It's about when and where you use that violence. That's all there is to it. And if you are incapable of that, sorry, at the end of the day. And also, we become stronger as a community. So go out, do a little bit of community engagement, and find out who your friends are, who has like-minded beliefs, things like that. And that could really help. Like I can tell you right now, I found out really quick on Independence Day last year, 4th of July last year, that I have a very large population of like-minded individuals around me. I was happy to hear that. And now quite a few of us are friends. I met a lot of them at my local gun shop. You know what I'm saying? You start having conversations there. You can find out really quick some of the people that say, I believe in the Second Amendment, but, and then you hear the people say, I believe in the Second Amendment. That's it. Oh, and then you start thinking about it. The more and more like-minded people like that are typically also in the same mindset of not trusting the government, not wanting to go to the grocery store or McDonald's to get your food. And now I'm working on building a chicken coop, getting some goats, doing some tactical homesteading. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. I think that I know I said long answer short, but it's almost like I'm paid to talk. I'm sorry. So there you go, Vince. I hope that answers some of your question. Let me know if you agree, disagree, if it offers a little bit of insight, a little bit of thought provocation. Just let me know. All right. Ricky. What's up, Ricky? And thank you guys, all of y'all, for the super chat. Appreciate it. I'm looking at getting my first AR. Would it make sense for me to get a pistol AR first, then adding rifle length upper and stock down the road? Be careful with that, because what you can do is add, technically, a rifle length upper, but the moment you throw a stock on it, even though you have a rifle length upper, it's still considered a pistol, and now you've thrown a stock on a pistol lower, and now all of a sudden you're a felon, and this is why gun laws are stupid. Because everything you're trying to do is within the realm of the law. You're trying to be a law-abiding citizen, but idiotic gun laws are preventing you from doing that. Not even preventing you from doing that. You might do it and not realize you're even breaking the law, but guess what? You're now a felon. Yeah. Yeah. How about that, right? So, and this is all coming from an agency that doesn't even know how to field strip a Glock. Y'all saw that video, right? Oh my God. It wasn't infuriating. It was awe-inspiring. My jaw hit the floor when I saw the Dettelbach douchebag, director of the ATF, with that Chris firearms expert, and these guys are going through saying shit that doesn't make sense, talking about laws that have been on the books forever, and they're getting them confused. And this is the agency that came up with them, and they're getting them confused about what the NFA is, what the GCA is. They probably don't even know what the Hughes Amendment is. Y'all are about to see me lose my shit, because watching that video made me realize that this agency is not only ignorant, but are so willing to strip people of their God-given rights protected by the Constitution of the United States that they're willing to lie and manipulate their way into it. And then those that are truly ignorant of what they're looking at. And that's okay, as long as you're willing to learn and you ain't stupid, right? You're willing to learn, that's one thing. But these people are willing to manipulate those that are ignorant about current situations, about guns in general, about firearms in general, by laws that, again, that their agency helped establish, by the way, that they're like, oh my God, people can own this? Oh my God. Yeah, people have been owning this type of shit for fucking 40 years. What are you talking about? And then he can't even field strip. I mean, granted, it was, I think, like a polymer 80 or something, so maybe it was a very bad milled polymer 80. I'm trying to give this guy a benefit of the doubt, 100%, right? Like, all right, every now and then those tabs on a Glock frame can get kind of sticky or stiff or a little difficult to grab. And then I thought about it. This is their firearms expert that they chose to be on camera with the director of the ATF, and he couldn't field strip ultimately a Glock design takedown, right? A firearm. And if I remember correctly, I think it was an actual, like, not an actual Glock, but a P80 or something like that. If it was a Glock, even more shame, because it's an OEM Glock. Like, you just take it apart. Polymer 80, it could have been a badly milled polymer 80, right? Not coming from the manufacturer, but, from somebody doing it in their living room or something. And I watched this guy struggle with it. He goes off camera with it. He, take this away, and then they just make up shit as they're going. And I'm like, wow. I have to know more than they do, so that way I don't find myself in prison. They just say shit at whim. And what? All this about... See, man, that's the difficult part about this industry is dealing with assholes and idiots that are in federal agencies that have the power to throw you in prison because you're trying to put a rifle length upper on your AR pistol and then throw a stock on it, because now it doesn't look like a pistol, right? It's nowhere near as short, but because it's still a serialized item that was manufactured as a pistol, it doesn't matter what the barrel length is. If you throw a stock on it, you're playing with fire. Now, a lot of people say, well, overall length, 26 inches, right? You can throw a stock or this or that or a vertical grip or whatever on it. Well, all of that is the muzzle device pinned and welded in place. Is this or that? And it's like, oh my God, none of it should matter. It's freaking ridiculous. So, all right. I'm done ranting about it. Maybe you guys don't want me to be done ranting about it, but I am for now until one of you brings it up again. Thank you, Ricky, for that. I will say this. Would it make sense? Yes, it would, but you got to be careful about what you're doing. Oh my God. Jeff Riggs, I will ask Kevin when Q suppressors are going to be available again. I will ask. TMS 1224, where do you rank the Geisley duty rifles, pistols compared to the top tier brands? I actually like those guns a lot. I know a lot of people say that, they got issues like with the rails bending and stuff. Let's be honest. Most of us are not ever going to torture our rifles like that and have to really worry about it. So there's that. All in all, I think, for what you're getting, they're pretty solid. But at the same time, it's like what you're getting shouldn't also have the possibility of having a bendy rail. So there's that. But again, with all that being said, I think they're actually pretty good rifles. Okay. So there you go. Coming back, Cole Phillips, good to see you. Clint, thoughts on building off Great Lakes Firearms GL15? I have one, but should I upgrade it or start a new build? See, this is where I have a lot of fun. Taking on and off parts, doing this, that, and the other. Great Lakes Firearms are awesome. They do a good job with, just basic ARs. And yes, I would absolutely love to just get like a base gun and then just start going to town, right? And then what you'll find yourself doing, as I often have, you'll start, stripping these guns of what they come with, putting on aftermarket parts that you find to be superior or better or more ergonomic or whatever. And then out of the parts that you left behind, you're like, maybe I should just buy another lower and just build with what I got here. And then you find yourself doing it all over again, right? And then it's a vicious cycle that never ends. And you've got all these ARs that are laying around now. And you're like, wow, maybe I should become an FFL and just sell these damn things. But no, it's actually a lot of fun because you learn a lot, right? So you're building off a Great Lakes firearm. I would say build for a purpose. You've got your GL15 for what purpose, right? You want maybe something to be, something, let's say mid-range. I'm just guessing out here, just a mid-range plinker. All right. That's what I got. Now the next one I want is my home defense gun. So now I'm either going to SBR it or build out a pistol and 300 Blackout. You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways of going about it. It just depends on the purpose. And what's great about building is you can build at the pace of your budget, right? Which is great. Randomly Epic, good to see you again. Thank you so much. I'm thinking about getting my first 308 gun, and I really like the M1A for its looks and history, even though I know an AR-10 is more practical. Do you have any advice? Yes, you're going to love the M1A. That's all there is to it. The M1A, it gets a lot of shit talked about it because of what the M14 was and everything. But the M14, I know I give the M14 shit. I know I say all the time that we truly lost out with the FAL and things like that. But at the end of the day, I am a low-key M14 fanboy. I love that platform. I love that rifle. I love running drills with it. I love its felt recoil. I love the way it shoots. It's a lot of fun. And if you've ever seen me run an M14 before, you'll know that I like to do it, right? And so I'll tell you right now, my first 308 that I bought was an M1A, and I sold it to a friend of mine, and I'm like, can I have it back? And I got the Schuster adjustable gas block on it. I suppressed it. That was a lot of fun. And I legitimately am thinking about hitting up my friend, like, can I buy that back off of you? Because I actually miss it. And mine had the wood stock on it and all that. And they're just such fun guns. And I would not discount you one bit for getting an M1A. I'll be honest with you. So there you go. AR-10s are more practical, but I've had more AR-10s fail on me than I have M1As, which blows my mind. But there's also more AR-10s for a budget out there than there are M1As. So, there you go. All right. Thank you, Randomly Epic, though. Like I said, I think you'll be happy. Tony, thank you, man. Hey, Clint, I'm going for the SIG Spear 308 contest, wondering if I could get the secret text word for 350 entry. It keeps sending me a text that says I'm already signed up, but no secret word. Thanks, brother. What was the code word we used? I forgot. How about this? If you type in spear, see if it works. All right, just type in spear, see if it works. Okay. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it, man. All right, here. And we got Vince back over here. Have I shot the MR920P? Yes, I have. It surprised you. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. I think you guys will like it. I know every now and then with the Shadow Systems P models, I might run into like a failure to feed or something like that. But after a little bit of a break-in and a little bit of lubrication, it starts to run pretty good. So there you got it. Oh, Elijah, also Stag arms for a more budget-friendly AR-15. Yes, there you go. Mike Riley wants to know if I think the Canik TTI will be worth it or just get the Mate SFT. Everything you're getting with that Canik TTI for sub $1,000, I think it'll be worth it, quite frankly. So there you go. And yes, Jessica Sim 44 Glock since the 1980s, early 80s, which is crazy. Let's see here. Steve wants to know, shit hits the fan right now, what's your first move? I do have the FN 510 right there. and my M4A1R3 and my LMT R20 and my Mark 18 all right there, and loaded mags right there. Oh, and an M16A4 right here. That's not on camera. So, oh, and my Meridian Pestilence, my AK right here. So probably my AK because it's in closer, you know. That's my first move. I mean, I assume shit hits the fan means like somebody's kicking in my door, right? Yeah, that would be my first move. Now I'm scared about being swatted, so that's great. Which my local police department knows me and should never happen. So there you go. Taylor's wanting to know Platy +1. I want it. I know. I've been wanting the Platypus too. I know. Let's see here. Coming back through. Let me get to some of the more recent ones here because I don't think I've. Yeah, Justin M saying please collaborate with Ranger Point on a lever gun. Yeah, I think that might be the way to go. Let's see here. Jared, did I going back to the super chats, did I miss one? I think I did. Jared, should be constitutional carry for every state. And that's what I'm saying. I absolutely agree. Thank you for the super chat because I absolutely agree and would 110% say that should be the case. Yeah, there you go. Josh, good to see you, man. Very small amount of Gen 2s, mostly Gen 3, Gen 4, G17, 21, 22, and 33. Are you answering somebody's question about something that we got at the warehouse? By the way, for those of you that don't know, Whipple Coyote here, he works at Classic. All right, he sees some pretty cool things come in. Okay, and there you go. Let's see here. Scrolling back on through. Let me get caught up over here. EDC, Richard Crane Specs, MB. You're responding to somebody. I'm looking. I don't see it. Okay, I'm coming on over to this one. Diamond, hey Clint, how can I get that signed hat from the Bust Your Builds episode? We signed a hat? How can I get that signed hat? I'm gonna have to go back and watch the episode just to see what you're saying. Look, I got a couple of hats on hand. You know what I'm saying? You don't, whatever. I'm reading a couple more too, where you guys are talking about Mosins. I'm interested about that one. We'll get there, but yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the Bust Your Builds episode 2 and see about the signed hat thing, because maybe that's something I completely missed. All right. We've also got Mosins. Tony, Mosins worked. Thanks, kind people. I mean, Mosins definitely worked, right? Oh, here we go. Rostic, I shouted you out, man. Heard budget-friendly AR. Rostic Arms has entered the chat. Yes, you have. I told you. I shouted you out, man. Again, it's really cool to see, somebody, because I remember one of the first questions you ever asked was, if I'm getting into, building ARs or getting into this market, what is some advice? And I remember, like on this channel right here, talking to you about it. And here you are, like not even a year later doing it. And so super proud of you, man. Keep it up, bro. That's awesome. And let's see here. Oh, M7. That's what it was. Yeah. M7 might've worked too for the CF contest, code word M7. But Spear, SPEAR, because that's what it is. That could work. That could probably work too if you try it. All right, M7. There you go. See, Spear was the secret word from the video. I'm here to tell you that either M7 or Spear might work. Okay, so there you go. Mosins was the code word. Is that what you're saying? Oh, Mosins worked too. I get it. Oh, that's funny because maybe. Oh my God. Q, you, and Kevin Bullpups. That would be an interesting conversation with him. That would be an interesting conversation. Let's see here. Matt, a guy on Bust Your Builds had the first ever 10. You guys said you would send him a swag bag signed. Oh. That's right. Yeah, we got to reach out to him and find that because, yeah, solid builds from everybody. Let's see here. I see you from Egypt, Ali. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Like I said, worldwide over here. That's awesome stuff. Thank you, Ali. Let's see. You guys mentioned giving me one because I got the highest rating so far. Oh, it's you. Well, cheers to you. I know it's not alcohol, but whatever. Oh man, well that's freaking cool. So we need to make that happen. DM me, like, are you on Instagram? DM me right now, magdump_Morgan. So that way I can approve it and see it and make that happen. All right. So send it. By the way, I know a lot of you have DM'd me and I'm really sorry, for my delayed responses and trying to get to them, but also my hidden requests are ridiculous. I didn't realize I had so many hidden requests from legitimate individuals. And some of these are from like 2-3 years ago. I'm really sorry, but it's Instagram. What are you going to do? And also a lot of these are, also, not legitimate people. But yeah, so DM me right now. So that way I see it and, I'll keep checking and looking for it. And, that's all there is to it. All right. Okay, cool. Continuing on over here. Don't forget, guys, I'll ask Kevin what you tell me to ask him here also. All right. So keep that in. Let's see here. SJM Clint, bring this theme song back to your videos. It's a Trap by Mikey Geiger. It's so funny how many people complained about the music to our original intro video. Like, you guys remember it, right? Like, if I go and pull up, I'm gonna play it right now, dude. Screw it, I don't care. YouTube. If I go to classic Firearms and like a video from like 2 years ago, let's just click on it. Or actually, I'll just go to like our most popular videos, and some of those have come a long way. And one of you guys asked about Alec earlier, so I'll go ahead and just play that. And let's see here. I'll share my share my screen. Let's see. Pull this up. There it is. And let's see if you guys remember. Oh. Yeah, you guys remember that, right? That's welcome back, everybody. Clint's here today.
Alec here today.
We're with Classic Firearms. Dude, we've got for you yet another top 5 fight between Alec and myself, because you guys just love it when we just head off and start going at each other's throats. That was the music right there. That old intro. When we were shooting at Point Blank Range Matthews, that was me running Iraq Veterans MP5s, Colorado MP5s. But yeah. So there you go. Oh, good times. All right, let me end that. And with that, let's continue on over here. And let's see here. I'm taking a look. I see that a couple more of you guys are asking. But LDS32, is Q going to come out with a multi-cal can? I mean, technically the Trash Panda is. Can you not run 5.56 to the Trash Panda? You know what I'm saying? But I would think that you could. Let's see here. Hobbyist, good to see you. Thank you so much. First live, great stuff and channel. And I gotta like stand up over here. In the process of building an AR 9mm pistol, having a hard time deciding between a Glock mag pattern AR lower or get a mil-spec lower and get an endo mag conversion. And the Glock mag ones, are just so many of them out there. Like it kind of makes it easy, but the endo mag conversion is also pretty cool. I also really like, the Colt mag look and all that stuff. But Glock mags are everywhere. And quite frankly, what Daniel Defense did with their PCC, making it Scorpion mag fed, I'm actually really happy about. I like Scorpion mags a lot. I actually have had better reliability out of like Scorpion mags than I have quite a few of like Glock mags, but that's just because there's so many cheap knockoff Glock mags out there. It's just unfortunate. But Scorpion mags, the only ones I ever run are actual Scorpion mags, or the Magpul mags, and they're like 35 something like that capacity, and it's like that's really cool. And I'm just trying to think. I just like the look of the Scorpion mag better, that curved and everything. And so I was really happy that Daniel Defense did that with their PCC. And so that's, that would be cool. But at the same time, it's like, you can't really find a Scorpion mag lower to build off of that I know of, unless there's something out there that's, you know, whatever. So there you go. But let's continue on. Unhealthy Sally, good to see you again. What's the barrel length of your Spear LT? I don't have a personal one, but the one that I was running for a while was 11.5. That was the one that I really liked. And then there's the Spear LT and 300 Blackout, the Spear LT Rattler, that are different ones as well. So there you go. Let's see here, dude. That's classic. Keep it, mix it up if you want to. I know. Tim's talking about the It's a Trap, the theme song to the original videos, or the OG videos, I should say. It was good, and it was iconic. You know, people knew it was us when that video came on. And how many times did y'all did I get told that y'all were annoying your, you know, roommates or significant others with every time that song would come on? It's hilarious and it's awesome, and thank you guys. You know, so those are, I mean, when I think about it, those are like the good old days, right? You know, me and Alec on camera, just, you know, having a good time, and it was a lot of fun. But let's see here. How long have we been rolling? About an hour 40. I'll start slowing down here in just a minute. But let's see. Addo Zub, make a video on the pros and cons of rock and lock versus straight in magwell. Speaking of Scorpion mags, which, by the way, the Dana Defense PCC didn't have a paddle mag release. It still had a traditional mag release, which was pretty cool. But Magnum video on pros and cons of rock and lock versus straight and magwell. So there are definitely pros and cons of each, and I think that would be a pretty fun video to do. I mean, again, that's kind of like another AK versus AR video, but there are a lot that, you know, share, they cross-dress, if you will. And so that would be a pretty fun one to say. I mean, one of the advantages of rock and lock is it's naturally ambidextrous, right? Versus a straight in magwell, which you kind of have to pay more for an ambidextrous design. And you could be faster with the straight in magwell because you don't have to worry about the hitting the, I mean, there's a lot to it. And it depends on how you reload. Yeah, that could be a fun video. Thank you, Addo Zub, for the recommendation. I appreciate that, man. Let's see here. Joe, yo. Good to see you. Hello all from Joe. Thank you so much. And this is something I've been hearing about a lot lately, which is like mind-blowing. From Aiden, got his first suppressor back in 6 days. What? You know, I got the Omega 300. What suppressor should I get next? Let's see. You got a 30 cal can. I'd go with a dedicated 5.56 can next. Or a pistol can, because you could, like I say, cross-dress the Omega 300, put it on a 5.56 gun, and if you don't have a pistol can, you can get into that, or a rimfire can, because that shit is fun. All right, rimfire is just way too much fun, and so that's one that you could rimfire suppressed. 22, you know what I'm talking about. That would be where it's at. All right. Oh man, this this super chat is, I've got a couple more here. I'm going to get to them, and but one came in that I really want to get to because it's going to hurt. Mike Riley, thank you again, Mike. Appreciate you, man. Is wanting to know thoughts. FN 510 Tactical, which is right there. Let me hide it. The FDE gun, that's the FN 510 Tactical sitting right there. It's always close by. I love that gun. Or the FNX 45 Tactical. And I'll tell you my current setup. I've got an FNX 45 Tactical with a red dot and a light in my nightstand upstairs. I have had 0 failures with that gun. I love the way it shoots. I'm accurate with it. I love the way it feels. And I love the 45 ACP for within the house. It's fat and slow. It'll definitely do a damage to the target, you know. It's going to have a desired effect on target. But also, because the 45 is so fat and slow, I don't have to really worry about over-penetration, especially with the hollow points and things like that. So it's going to do the job without having to worry too much about not being accountable for every time I pull that trigger. You know what I'm saying? 10 mil, spicy. Love it. But for home defense, it's like, that's a lot. You know? but I also have hollow points loaded up in that guy. So it depends on what you want to do. I will say the 510 tactical shoots like a dream. It doesn't shoot like a 10 mil. It feels a lot softer shooting than a 10 mil. And you're still getting 15 rounds of 10 mil. Dude, just get the 10 mil. Just get the FN 510. You're going to be so happy with it. God dang it. I knew that was going to be a hard one, but you're going to love it. The trigger on it is phenomenal. It feels great. You're going to love it. The FNX 45 has a special place in my heart and my nightstand, but the FN 510 is awesome. Right. So there you go. Let's see here. Yeah, going back to smart shooters. Yep, good to see you, man. Budget-friendly ARs. Rustic Arms has entered the chat. Good to see you, bro. God bless all of the Monday night crew. You hear it. And again, yeah, God bless to the Monday night crew. We've got over 1,600 of y'all here tonight, which is an absolute record. So I don't know what you guys are all doing. Is it daylight savings? Y'all are just up. You can't, I don't know what's going on. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, it's humbling, and it's awesome to sit here and talk with you guys for a bit. But I will be logging off soon because I want to go spend time with my family. But I'm going to continue to get to these chats because it's a lot of fun and you guys get me thinking. And I'm going to back up just a little bit here because I don't want to miss out on some of these super chats, like from EDC Richard Cranium, who's saying, looking for a duty competition. What would you choose? Echelon, MP 9, M2.0 competitor, or PDP, the Walther PDP though, or the Mate SFX Pro. Oh man. I would literally need to have like all those guns right next to me and at the range. I will say this though, the PDP Pro is hot. But let me throw you a curveball, okay? Because you're talking duty and competition, and I think you could do both with the CZ Shadow 2 Compact. Okay? I'm throwing it out there. That gun had me... the first time I felt it at a local gun shop, I was ready to pay... right then and there, like I might want to do this. And then I remembered I have infants, plural, at home, and I was like, I got to be responsible. So there was that. So I'm just going to throw that little curveball. The M&P 2.0 competitor, I don't have any experience with, so that one I would be, I would like it. The Echelon shoots great. I do like it. I think Springfield hit a home run with the Echelon. The extended magazines apparently have a little bit of an issue. But, you can go watch our review on that. That was hilarious. And then the Mate SFX Pro. Out of the box, hands down, that one's going to be very difficult, especially for the price point. Very difficult to say no to. So, personally, I think it's going to come down between the PDP or the Mate. And I'm just going to throw it out there one more time. Go check out the CZ Shadow 2 Compact and let me know what you think. All right? All right. Thank you, EDC Richard Cranium. Art never dies. I'll be getting a 308 from SDI very soon. I'm thinking about getting rid of it in exchange for an 8-inch CMG Mark 47, mostly for shit hits the fan purposes. Good move. I think... Let me see. I think... the CMG Mark 47 is pretty damn cool. And they've got one that's been running... full auto, tens of thousands of rounds. The reliability on that gun is insane. I think you'd probably be making a pretty good move. Honestly, when you think shit hits the fan, one thing that comes to my mind is being mobile, right? I mean, and 308, it's a lot to pack. You know what I'm saying? But it's also packs a punch. So there's that also, but that Mark 47, I think you'll be making the right move with. Thank you, Art Never Dies. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Continuing on. I got to you, Daryl. Want to make sure. Yep, I got the contest word. Eric learns stuff. Spend $10,000 on night vision or buy more firearms. Put it this way. You can only shoot one gun at a time. but it's only so often you can look up at the stars through night vision and can get completely dazzled. You know what I'm saying? I would say go the night vision route. If you've got already, like, if you don't have that, go for it. If you've got, guns for different purposes, different reasons, different whatever, then all right, great. But if you've got the money and that's what you want to spend it on, night vision. Granted, I don't think night vision will hold its value as well as, firearms do, because technology is ever changing. So it probably won't be as good in an investment, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be a lot of fun. And also you'll have night vision. It's kind of like Step Brothers, even better. You got them when you're 40. So I don't think you'll regret it. I'll throw that out there. In fact, I'm thinking about selling guns to get night vision, upgrade a bit. So there's that. Just throwing it out there. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it, man. We've got Daryl Wiegand. What is your favorite 16-inch AR suppressor and why? Favorite. So I'm thinking about it. I keep wanting to go with the Huxworks Flow 556K because it's lightweight, it's short, it does its job, it's awesome. It does have a shelf life, so that's something you'd have to take into consideration. But I've shot the shit out of a few of them, full auto even, and haven't had any issues. But if you want the longevity, even though it's old, the Surefire RC2. And then I'm going to throw you a caveat because I'm working on something right now and I hope I have it back within the next few weeks and I cannot wait to show you guys. If you haven't noticed, my Daniel Defense Mark 12 has been MIA for a little while, and that's because the upper receiver is currently at Allen Engineering because I got an Allen AEM5 silencer and I'm outfitting my Mach 12 to run that can, and I've got a feeling that's going to be my favorite suppressor on that gun. And you don't have to have a Mark 12 to run the Allen AEM5 or the Otter Creek OCM5. And Mr. Guns and Gear did a video on the Allen not too long ago, about 6 months ago, I think. And I watched it because I'm like super hype about this. And also I'm a fan of Mr. Guns and Gear. And I texted Mike about it and I was like, dude, I got one of these, I'm so excited. I've got the silencer, but I don't have my gun back yet to shoot it. And I'm really upset about that, but I'm also really eager. And he says, I'm going to love it. Says it's the quietest 5.56 can he's ever shot. And I'm like, I can't wait. So check out Allen Engineering also. Okay. All right, cool. Continuing on over here, Jarad. Good to see you, man. Jared, I know I see your name and I just want to do Jarad. You need to do a review video with all the new guys on other YouTube of like hot stuff or sour stuff like you did with others. We've done that, quite a bit actually with Outside the Warehouse. Jason and Kaya, they did the spicy stuff and everything. And we, we go for it. And then I learned, I didn't know this. I learned it on camera there that day that, Jason actually has a peanut allergy, so he couldn't do the same challenge. So that was good to know because we don't want to kill Jason. We love you if you're still watching. And so that was fun to do all that. And I promise you guys, I'm not just answering super chats. I just want to make sure I'm getting to you because these guys are paying for their, questions and comments. And I will hop back over to the regular chat here in just a moment. And but we will continue to do more ridiculous challenges and stuff like that. I'm sure the guys will come up with more stuff too because, they're at the warehouse all the time as I am not. And so they're still doing stuff on outside the warehouse. And we've got things planned. It's just with SHOT Show, with all the different travel, with everything else we've got coming up, it's just been hard to get everybody at one place at one time. But, maybe again soon. So stay tuned. Tanner, it's good to see you, man. Forgot it was Monday. how are you going to forget it's Monday, man? It's like, I try to make your Monday a little bit nicer because everybody hates Monday, right? So I try to start Mondays off and get, on a live stream here and talk with you guys. But here I am, but if you forgot it was Monday, maybe that's just because you had a great weekend, which I hope you did. It's always good seeing you, Tanner. And, I'll talk to you soon, but thank you for the super chat. Refresh and reload. Will Classic be getting Canik TTI? If so, when? Yes. Also, I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that. Maybe nobody told me I wasn't allowed to. One of the organizations that I was talking about a lot recently tonight is also partnering with this manufacturer, and they're coming out with an exclusive that Classic will have. So stay tuned for that as well. But when will we have the TTI collaboration? I don't know. I'm not too sure just yet. I think end of the summer. I might be wrong. I'll ask Adam when I talk to him again soon, which I want to see how Germany and IWA was for him. So I'll be talking to him really soon. Great guy. Love Adam, and he's a dear friend. Okay, cool. So thank you all for the super chats. That's all of them. If I missed you, just comment down below. I'll make sure I try to keep my eyes glued on the comments here. And yep. Yes, it is exclusive for Classic. Oh, I'm not going to say it's exclusive for Classic. It's just that we bought them all. So there you go. And obviously, I love Gun Owners of America. Obviously, I love Canik. So if at any point in time we can do something like that, I am all for that. All right. So there you go. Diamond Mo. Never catch a stream. I'm always on baby duty, but she's playing and letting me listen today. Awesome. Did you DM me? So I know where to send the swag bag for you getting our first ever 10. Did you? I don't think you did, but it's all good. Oh man. All right. I'll make sure I keep a lookout for that email again and go back and double check all that. Okay. Let's see here. AL Law at Alabama Law. If you had to choose between SCAR 16 or AR-15. Well, like I've got always like what ifs in my head, like what's the scenario? What's the situation? What's this, that, or the other? And look, at the end of the day, would I own a SCAR 16? Absolutely. I've got more AR-15s than I really, know what to do about at this point. Actually, that's not true. I only actually have a handful of AR-15s. And to be quite frank with you, I'm planning on selling them. I guess you get kind of jaded in this industry where it's like, it's a gun, and then it's like, if you've been sitting in my safe for 6 months and I haven't even like moved you out of the way to get to something else because you're just sitting that far back in my safe, maybe it's time to get rid of you. And so, and like I said, I want to invest in other cool gear and things like that, so yeah. I actually want to get like my drone pilot's license and get like a really dope drone to get some cool shots, so something like that. But I also really want like high speed night vision too. And Nocturne Industries is a company that I met at SHOT Show that I hope to do something with very soon. So there you go. But if I had to choose between the two, like in a shit hits the fan situation, I'm probably going to choose the AR-15. I know I said it, right? I said it, but I know the platform better. I know I've got a lot more additional parts for the AR-15, and I know for a fact that it would actually probably be, I don't know, it'd be between, like, I'd probably go with my M4A1R3. I did that video. Like, that would probably be the one I pick up and run with, like, hardcore. But if I wanted to be, like, kind of sneaky quiet, it'd probably be my Mark 12, especially once I get that Allen AEM5 silencer on it. So there you go. That's me. I'd still like to have a SCAR 16 though. Shorty, SBR SCAR 16 with the can. That's cool. Hey Clint, what pistol would you recommend for first time woman shooter? All right. Thank you for asking this question. And I'll tell you right now, let her decide. take her to a range, rent whatever she looks at and thinks she might like, rent it for her. Let her shoot it. If you got friends that have the gun, let her shoot it. Do not offer any input. Don't offer any opinion, any advice. Maybe about, offer her a class, offer her basics, how to hold a gun, things like that. If this, like you said, first time woman shooter, I'm assuming that's what it all is, right? But a lot of information to any new shooter, to anybody new to anything, can be overwhelming. Firearms inherently can be intimidating, and you don't want to unintentionally scare somebody out of potentially having a wonderful time and also exercising their God-given right? So let her choose. Some of the recommendations I can make, a 22, a reliable, fun little 22, like what's one of the best, like little, 22s out on the market that you can just keep drilling the target with. Ruger makes the 22-45. It's comfortable grip angle because it's like a 1911. It's nice, slim, narrow, all that type of stuff. And there you go. By the way, Scooter Patutor, I just saw you on Rumble. Please ask Q when they are planning. Actually, I think it's just it should come up here, right? Please ask Q when they're planning to come out with the 9mm PCC. I think we talked to them about that. I don't think he said he wants to or would, actually. So go watch our podcast on that. Back to the previous question about women shooters, first time, stuff like that. Don't mansplain, right? Don't give them so much information that they're just like in ear, one out the other. It's intimidating. It's too much to listen to, stuff like that. You don't want that. Just basic, simple. Hey, I want you to try this, shoot this. And here's the other thing. If it's an indoor range, try to book a private range session. It might be expensive, but indoor ranges suck. I'm sorry, but it is what it is, especially to new shooters. If you can do it after hours, get to know somebody, that would be ideal, because now you don't have all of this gunfire happening enclosed, which is 10 times as worse. And you'll see it all the time, man. Back when I used to hang out at a local range all the time, I would see some guy bringing in his girlfriend. She's already like, I'm not comfortable being here. And then they walk into a bay and it's boom, 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 boom. And then there's that asshole with a 7.5-inch 5.56 gun with a muzzle brake on it that's trying to do mag dumps, and people's ear pros rattling off, right? And you just see somebody like, I never want to do this again. This is terrible. This was the worst experience ever. And then the safety aspect of it. I've seen people, again, guys bring their girlfriends or whatever. They book a lane in a bay where it's just people shooting, and she's sitting there, and when her gun goes off, she's scared. When the guy's gun next to them goes off, she's jumping and pulling the trigger, and it's hitting the ceiling. It's just not a good time. This is why I don't like indoor ranges. That doesn't mean I won't go there and shoot, but I know what to expect. And I don't even jump at the sound of gunfire anymore. I do typically at like a little like, oh, okay, like at the very first shot of the day, and then after that I'm done, right? It still hits me every now and then, but it actually has been a long time since that's happened, but on occasion it will. But for somebody who isn't around guns and who doesn't shoot guns almost every single day of their life, yeah, that can be scary. But ultimately, don't try to make any decisions for her. Let her try. Say, the one gun I want you to try is this 22, right? And go through the basics. And book her a class. Like a woman's only class, probably one of the best things you could do. Just saying, right? So that's my advice for getting women, new shooters into that. Leave it, take it. Let me know how it works out, all right? So there you go. Brian Duchesne, Clint, what is the best way for regular people like me to sell firearms that are safe riders? I'll be honest. Like, I am a regular person like you when it comes to selling personal firearms. I don't list them on the Classic Firearms, website or anything. I typically, just because I've done the gun broker thing before, but gun broker's got so many fees and stuff like that, I'll honestly go and consign it at a local gun shop and then haggle them a little bit about how much percentage they get back. I'll compare what's a better deal, gun broker or local gun shop. And I'll say, all right, cool. You want 5% of my sell? Well, gun broker wants, so many fees and taxes. And it's like, okay, well, it'd actually be cheaper to sell it to, or consign it on a local gun shop. If you live out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a local gun shop, then you might be, limited to the internet. So there you have it. Let's get back over here. Super chat, Unhealthy Salad. Thank you so much. German Viking has been asking the same question the past hour. LO, I got you, homie. My bad. Anywho, Jason inspired me to get a TAC Ops. Jason, you still watching? A week after his loadout build, and now I got a EXPS 3 on it along with the G33 with Unity mounts. That's solid. So it's really cool for you guys to get like inspired by some of our builds. That's just fun. That's awesome. So I'm really glad that happened. By the way, guys, we've been going over 2 hours now, over 1,700 viewers. You guys are awesome. I can't believe y'all. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I'm going to start shutting it down because, like I said, I want to go spend time with my family. And thank you for the super chat, Unhealthy Salad. Thanks for helping out German Viking over here. I'm sorry I missed that, man, but it's super glad too that you got inspired by Jason's TAC Ops build, because it's a pretty sweet build. It's pretty damn awesome, right? So there you go. All right. And with that, I'll give Diego and a few more minutes here. Thoughts on Staccato. I think Staccato makes some awesome stuff. I just wish that they would do away with their brick and mortar rule. Like, if we want to carry their products, we have to have a physical shop. And since we're online only, we don't. And my thought process is, I get it. You want people to get hands-on your guns, but we're nationwide. Why wouldn't you want us marketing your stuff? It's not like they need the exposure, right? But at the same time, I'm just annoyed by that. But as far as their products go, amazing, right? There you go. Let's keep on keeping on over here. Also, I was wondering if I was going to hear from you tonight, Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster 3000. Hey, Clint, I just got my SIG Spear LT and 7.62x39 rifle finally. Looking for a really good optic, EOTech with the Magnifinder or Trijicon ACOG. Which one would you recommend buying? Trijicon makes an ACOG with a 7.62x39 reticle that would be pretty dope. But honestly, the EOTech and magnifier for 7.62x39 would probably be the way that I would go personally. That's just more my speed on the Spear LT. That's just how I feel about it. I actually don't think I've tried running an ACOG on a Spear LT. And now I feel like I should. So there's that. All right. But there you go. Let's see here. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, German Viking, found you. How do you compare the Zion 15 to AR-15s in the $1,500, $2,500 price range? I think the IWI Zion 15 is very favorable there, but for that price range, once you start getting into that $1,500, especially $2,500 price range, there's firearms in this industry, ARs especially, obviously, that just offer more. How valuable is it that an AR has ambidextrous controls? To a lot of people, it doesn't really matter. To a lot of people like myself, if I'm spending that kind of money, I want that feature, right? And so that's why I recommend like LWRCI and others that are in that price point. So that's how I compare it. Favorably. But if I'm like gonna spend that money, I want ambi controls. I want, quality barrels. I want neat things. But thank you, German Viking. Appreciate it. Sorry I didn't see your other builds. I see you guys coming in clutch, helping them out. Oh, that's too funny. Thank you, guys. See, this is what's cool about this. You guys all just here helping out and being awesome. German Viking. There you go. Okay. Oh, man. All right. Couple more and I'm out, guys. I'll make sure I get to all the super chats that are left, if any. And with that, I want to get Buddy over here. Hey, Clint, huge fan. I have severe nerve damage in my right arm. I'm looking for a Gen Perp 5.56. I'm unable to charge a standard AR. Would you go Jackal or Side Charge DI? Having no experience with the Jackal. Keep that in mind. Side charging DIs are awesome. There's also, let's see, severe nerve damage in the right arm. That's where I would start looking at truly side charging DI guns. That's where my mind would go. Y'all help out buddy here. Let him know what y'all think about that. All right? That's a good question though. But yeah, I'd probably go with something side charging. Personally, I think. So, yeah. Monadnock Munition says he's got no experience but's heard really good things, you know, so there you go. Let's see here. Coming back. Carolina Laser Works, what's up? Just wanted to drop in and say hello. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. By the way, if you guys have seen my Mark 18 build and you see my UID tag on my Mark 18, that's, you know, like a clone thing, whatever, but it's super cool. That is from Carolina Laser Works. Check them out. By the way, I'm going to be probably getting one for my M4A1 for my Mark 12 because I really also like it. You know, it's just a cool thing. So, you know, be on the lookout. All right, let's get to the last super chats here. Then I am ending it because, you know, I'm getting low on water and I'm sure my fiance is like, help me take care of these babies. All right, planning on buying my first AR-15. Seriously considering the Saint Edge 16-inch. Any experience with this rifle? Yes, the Springfield Saint is also another really good one. That's actually really good. I think it gets some hate. I think it's Springfield that ultimately brings the hate themselves because them with Rock River Armory, a couple of others that tagged along on some Illinois legislation that they apparently didn't realize what they were doing or something like that many, many years ago, was actually like some anti-2A shit. It was something about business. I don't remember all the specifics, and I think that's why Springfield Armory gets a lot of hate. And then you talk with these guys, and they're like, you know, I know some of these guys at Springfield, and none of them are anti-2A. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult world to live in sometimes. But the Saint Edge, I don't think you'd be making a bad choice on. Tanner, thank you, man. Reminder, for $3,000, $5,000 for pistol and AR, I asked about last stream. Whenever you think of it, no hurry. Thanks again. $3,000 to $5,000 for pistol and AR. I really want that Platypus by Stealth Arms right now because that's just where the forethought is. You know, probably the pistol and the Radian Mod 1. I feel like those are up there, but also the LMT Mars H battle rifle is up there. So, yeah, those are a couple of my answers. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night here. I've been over 2 hours, still at 1,700 viewers, which blows my mind. Thank you guys so much for all of y'all tuning in. And should see you guys next week, unless, you know, anything comes up. But like I said, follow me at magdump_Morgan, so that way you can kind of keep up with all of it. Make sure you're following Classic Firearms at Classic Firearms Official. And then on Twitter, it's at Classic Firearm, I think. And then it's just Magdump Morgan everywhere else that you can find social media, except TikTok. I actually think I posted one TikTok, and it was the entire that one trend that was happening where the guy was drinking the I can't remember what he was drinking, but they sponsored him and gave him a new truck, and he was listening to, I can't even remember the name of the song. I can hear it, and I'm just drawing blanks now. And I did the same thing where I was on a skateboard, my longboard, and I was in a gas mask, body armor, and a honey badger, funny enough. And that was what I was skating to that song. I can't remember it. Famous song. What the hell's wrong with me? I'm just tired. Oh, man. But there you have it. So, there you have it, guys. Thank you all. Have a good night. Like I said, keep up to date with us. I don't think I posted. I don't think I have a TikTok really, but unless it is that. And with that, guys, I love y'all. I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you again, so many of y'all, for being here for these past couple of hours this Monday night. Like I said, it means the world. Without you, I wouldn't, right? And I'm looking forward to doing this again. So with that, good night. God bless you guys. Love y'all. And I will talk to you soon. Have a good one.